You're watching Prep Sports Live, your home for high school sports. I'm Ivy Gutierrez, and I'm here at Rancho Bernardo High School as the Broncos host the Poway Titans in their last game of the regular season. Now, before I tell you more, I'm going to toss it over to Javon, who's at Mount Carmel tonight. Javon, talk to me.
Thanks, Ivy. I'm here at Mount Carmel High School, ready to watch the Sun Devils renew their rivalry against the Westview Wolverines in the Discovery Bowl. I'll have those highlights later for you in the show, but first I'll send it down south to Araceli. How's the energy down there?
The energy is electric, Javon. I'm here at Mission Bay High School, where the Madison Warhawks have the chance to take the Western League title by winning tonight's game. Will they succeed? I'll have that answer for you later, but first I'm going to send it to Melina in Oceanside. How's the weather over there, Melina?
Thanks, Araceli. I'm here at John Carroll Stadium, where the Pirates are hosting the El Camino Wildcats. I'll have all the highlights and more later, but first let me hand it off to Evan DeVore, who's in studio. Evan, what do you have for us?
Tonight's Biggs Harley-Davidson of San Marcos Game of the Week features an undefeated Mission Hills team hosting their crosstown rival, the San Marcos Knights, in an epic Avocado East League matchup that will determine who walks away with the league crown. So sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy, because Prep Sports Live starts right now.
Good evening and welcome back to another action-packed episode of Prep Sports Live. I'm Jasmine Leoning.
And I'm Steve Kirch. It was the last week of the regular season, and with the playoffs just a few days away, these teams don't want to miss out on a chance to move on.
We have more footage than a half-hour show can handle, so let's jump right into the action. Our first matchup sends us over to reporter Marcus Williams, who is in downtown Carlsbad, where we have a great Pacific League matchup. Marcus?
Thanks, Jasmine. Both teams decide their own fate here tonight. The Warriors and the Eagles come into tonight's game with a 3-1 league record. If Tri-City Christian takes this game tonight, they clinch the Pacific League. However, they're facing a tough Army-Navy team who has a 3-game win streak. Let's roll those highlights and see who wins in this crucial Pacific League matchup. In the first quarter, the Warriors quickly get on the board with a forced fumble that is quickly scooped up and brought to the house. 7-0 Army-Navy. In the second quarter, the Eagles answer with a 6-yard touchdown run to tie the game up at 7s. Army-Navy retakes the lead with a 15-yard field goal. The Eagles strike back with a 4-yard touchdown run to get their first lead of the game. Tri-City Christian widens their lead going into the half with a 47-yard pass to make it 20-10 Eagles. In the second half, the Eagles would score 2 more times, shutting out the Warriors in the third and fourth quarter. The Eagles defeat the Warriors 34-10. The Tri-City Christian offense was just a little bit too much for the Army-Navy defense today. They clinched the Pacific League Championship, and both teams are awaiting their playoff matchups. Back to you in the studio, Jasmine.
Thanks, Marcus. The Tri-City Christian Eagles will face Coronado, while the Warriors visit Vincent Memorial in the first round of the Division V playoffs. Marcus went the extra mile and spoke with the new Army-Navy head coach as well as the team on their breakout season.
There is a tide turning in downtown Carlsbad. However, it's not happening in the ocean, but on the football field. At Army-Navy Academy in downtown Carlsbad, the varsity football team has gone from a 1-9 record to currently having a 7-3 record. Some might say that their new head football coach, Nehemiah Brunson, is responsible. Nehemiah Brunson has even played and coached under local legend John Carroll.
You know, he's affected a lot. I lucked out. You know, I played for him, and then he allowed me to come back, you know, after college, and then after, you know, being here for a little bit to go back and work for him and learn from him. And it's a blessing, you know, to learn from probably one of the best in the state of California. And I hold him in high regard. We text, we talk on the phone. You know, he gives me, you know, what he sees, what he feels where I'm slacking. You know, he's a big mentor of mine, and, you know, I look up to him.
Awesome. Coach Brunson has brought his football experience to a developing program and has quickly instilled a mentality of winning off the bat.
Winning attitude. I mean, back when I was here, we won a few games with him, but definitely that winning attitude. I know, the previous coaching staff didn't really bring that to the team, and we're just real, personal with the players. And like I said, it's that winning attitude that we had before.
The mentality and attitude that Coach Brunson has instilled has brought his team together to create a great season.
Coach Brunson created a brotherhood where I've been playing for 3 years, and I never feel like more bonded to this team in 3 years until this year. Yeah.
The new stability within the program has given the players what they need to succeed, and they are in good hands with their new head football coach, Nehemiah Brunson.
Next up, PSL correspondent Ivy Gutierrez traveled down to Rancho Bernardo, where they host rival Poway.
The Poway Titans and the Rancho Bernardo Broncos are both here tonight for one reason, and that is for a share of the Palomar League title. Now, will the Broncos buck their way to the finish line, or will Poway make the Broncos remember the Titans? Let's roll those highlights. Jumping right into the second quarter, Mark Salazar throws for a beautiful diving catch to wide receiver Devon Bailey for the Broncos' first touchdown. Third quarter, Robbie Sullivan throws for a long pass intended for Jacob Gaines and is intercepted mid-air by the Broncos' Jeffrey Molino. Continuing the action, Mark Salazar meets powerhouse Devon Bailey mid-field and runs, shaking off Poway defenders for the final touchdown of the night. The Broncos shut out the Poway Titans 14-0 for the final game of the regular season. I caught up with Mr. Bailey himself after the game.
Coach had to make adjustments because the way the defense was playing, and he trusted me with the ball, and he said, just go get the ball, and I had the opportunity to make a great play.
The Broncos stampeded the Titans, pitching a shutout. Now Rancho Bernardo will get a share in the Palomar League title. Back to you, Steven.
Thanks, Ivy. Moments after, it was reported that Rancho Bernardo claimed the Palomar League title outright. We're going to take a real quick break, so don't go anywhere.
We had a few star players stop by our studio earlier and give us their thoughts on the upcoming weeks.
And who can forget the Biggs Harley-Davidson of San Marcos Game of the Week when Prep Sports Live returns.
Coming up, I'll have the Biggs Harley-Davidson of San Marcos Game of the Week, where the Mission Hills Grizzlies host the San Marcos Knights in one of the biggest rivalry games of the season. So don't go anywhere.
Eric Weddle, the San Diego Chargers. When I'm not playing football, I'm with Prep Sports Live watching some high school football.
We're the Oceanside Pirates, and you're watching Prep Sports Live. Woo!
Don't go anywhere. Prep Sports Live will be right back.
Biggs Harley-Davidson of San Marcos is proud to bring North County Families High School football on Prep Sports Live.
You're watching Prep Sports Live, your home for high school sports.
Do you want to be featured on Prep Sports Live? Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And while you're there, use the hashtag PSL Fan of the Week when tagging photos, and your picture can be on a future episode of Prep Sports Live. Mission Bay has had a promising season after going 8-0 before losing their first game last week. Reporting at Madison High School is Araceli Pinzon to see the Buccaneers can recover.
Madison, who's on a 5-game winning streak, will be taking on Mission Bay, who suffered a tough loss against Point Loma last week. A win tonight will give the Buccaneers a share to the Western League title. Let's find out. Let's roll those highlights.
Eric Buchanan was electrifying in the first quarter by scoring 2 rushing and 2 receiving touchdowns, making the score 27-0. Going into the second quarter, Terrell Carter scrambles to the field and delivers a stiff arm to the defender as he makes his way into the end zone. 51-0 Madison. Third quarter, Terrell Carter hands off the ball to Padel Owens, who shakes and bakes to the field for another touchdown, making the score 58-0 Madison. Fourth quarter, Mission Bay scores the only touchdown of the night on a Statue of Liberty play. And Madison scores one more time, making the score 64-7.
What an impressive win by Madison Warhawks, claiming their 9th straight Western League championship. Despite their loss by Mission Bay, they have already secured a spot on the playoffs. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Araceli. Madison will enter the postseason riding a significant wave of momentum. And earlier today, I had a chance to speak with Madison running back Eric Buchanan.
The Madison Warhawks won 6 straight games to end the regular season and win the Western League title. And one of the main catalysts of that team was junior running back Eric Buchanan, who's here with us today in studio. Eric, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, now Eric, you guys had a great end to end the regular season. And you might not know this, but you won your games, your last 6 games, by a combined score of 335-33.
From the start, I knew our offense was going to click, so we just had to work through the season. We had a tough loss to Saints, so after that, we had to just bounce back, and our offense just had to keep on going.
Okay, now in the first round, who do you play?
Helix.
Okay, so what was your reaction? What was your team's reaction when you found out that your first round matchup was going to go against Helix?
So when we found out on Saturday that we will be playing Helix, we were ready. We were excited. We wanted to play them this whole season, so we finally get the matchup that we wanted.
Okay, now I know it's kind of early, but for next season, what do you feel like you have to work on to get better as a running back?
My top end speed. I feel like I have a good burst, but I need to work on my top end speed. I'm good at making people miss, but my top end speed, I need to work on it.
Eric, I thank you for your time. Thank you for coming to Prep Sports Live.
You're welcome.
And folks, as I said, you can watch Eric of the Madison Warhawks, number 8 seed, take on the number 1 seed Helix Highlanders in the Open Division round playoffs in 2 weeks. Great. Thank you again so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Eric Buchanan, once again for that interview. Oceanside was facing a 4-game losing streak for the first time since 1966 before last week's victory over La Costa Canyon. Now they hope to continue their momentum against the division rival. Melina Valdez reports.
Thanks, Jasmine. The Oceanside Pirates are getting ready to take on the El Camino Wildcats in the city championship game. Last week, the Pirates ended their losing streak against the La Costa Canyon Mavericks, making them 1-2 in the Avocado West League, while El Camino is sitting at 0-3. Who will become the city champion? Let's roll those highlights. No action in the first quarter, but in the second quarter, Robbie Beardsley airs the ball out to Ronan Ivanovic, who's already at the end zone, scoring the first touchdown for the Pirates. Beardsley hands the ball off to Anthony Martinez, who scores the second touchdown for Oceanside. The ball gets handed to Nico Maggio, who sneaks in for a touchdown. There's no action from either teams in the third quarter, but in the fourth quarter, Robbie Beardsley throws a 74-yard touchdown pass to Taj Apodaka, making the score 26-0. During the last minutes of the final quarter, Jaden Casey airs the ball out to Dante Dreisbach, who makes the first touchdown for the Wildcats. The final score, 29-6 Oceanside. The Oceanside Pirates were able to defeat the El Camino Wildcats, making them the city champions. The Pirates are now 2-2 in league, and the Wildcats are 0-4. This means that the Oceanside Pirates will jump into open division. Back to you in the studio, Jasmine.
What a bittersweet moment for the Oceanside Pirates as they had a rough start this season heading into the playoffs.
PSO's very own Jason Raven reports on a game known as the Beach Bowl. Take it away, Jason.
There's nothing better than Friday Night Lights. I'm here in beautiful Del Mar, California, where the La Costa Canyon Mavericks are in enemy territory, taking on the Torrey Pines Falcons. Will the Mavericks continue their winning streak, or are the Falcons looking to upset another great football team? We need to roll those highlights to see what happens.
First quarter action. The Falcons appear to be on the attack until junior free safety Harper Ingeman intercepts the ball and runs it back to the Falcons 30. 2 plays later, junior quarterback Tanner Clark with the play action. He easily sneaks in for the touchdown. On to the second play. Tanner drops back again. He hits junior running back Zachary Goodkin. He breaks a tackle and is off to the end zone, but wait, Matthew Feeler isn't feeling it. Watch here as he runs Goodkin down and strips the ball. Despite the hard-fighting Falcons' effort, it just wasn't enough as they are defeated by the Mavericks by a score of 13-3.
Once again, another exciting game, sports fans. The Mavericks held on to the lead, the surfboard, and bragging rights until next season. Reporting for you from Prep Sports Live, I'm Jason Raven. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Jason. The Mavericks will continue the open division in the playoffs, while Torrey Pines seeks for a Division I win in the Division I brackets.
Another great rivalry game is headed this way. PSL's reporter Javon Ross is at Mount Carmel High School. Javon.
Thanks, Jasmine. This rivalry game is about much more than bragging rights. With playoffs looming, each team is looking to win in hopes of higher Division II seeding. Dating back 4 seasons, Westview has swept the Sun Devils 4-0 in the regular season series. Will Mount Carmel finally say enough is enough and upset their Wolverine rivals? Let's roll those highlights. First quarter, Wolverines opened the scoring on their first possession with a 28-yard AJ Leonard rushing touchdown. Westview would miss the PAT. Second quarter, Westview up 13-0 when Lucas Johnson finds Keon Gold standing tall in the end zone for an 18-yard score. Third quarter, Sun Devils now leading 21-13 when Lucas Johnson runs the read option to perfection for 45 yards and a 15-point lead. Fourth quarter, Wolverines trailing 28-22, looking to retake the lead, but Dylan Hunt picks off Bo Nelson to seal the victory. After the game, I asked Lucas Johnson what his team did to prepare for an exceptionally strong Westview squad.
We know all those kids. This is our biggest rivalry, so we just preached, you got to be all in. Like, if you're not all in, don't suit up, because, it was going to take everything to take down those guys, and, my team showed up tonight, and I'm proud of them.
The Discovery Bowl trophy belongs in sole possession to Mount Carmel. Lucas Johnson and his fleet of Red Devils fell behind early in the first quarter, but rallied, took the lead, and never looked back. Westview played respectably and fought hard wire to wire. Back to you in the studio, Jazz.
Thanks, Javon. With this loss, Mount Carmel gave Westview their 3rd straight defeat to finish the regular season, but still managed to pull through into the playoffs. We're going to take a short break, so don't go anywhere because the Biggs Harley-Davidson of San Marcos Game of the Week is coming up.
And a breakdown of how the playoffs are going to look when we return.
I'm Eric Allen, 6-time Pro Bowler and ESPN analyst. Whenever I'm watching the Tube and sports, I'm watching Prep Sports Live.
I'm Lucas Johnson, Mount Carmel quarterback, and you're watching Prep Sports Live.
Biggs Harley-Davidson of San Marcos is proud to bring North County Families High School football on Prep Sports Live.
You're watching Prep Sports Live, your home for high school sports.
If you ever missed an episode of Prep Sports Live, don't worry.
Because you can visit our website at www.prepsportslivesd.com and binge watch every single episode. Well, Steve, it's that time of the show for the Biggs Harley-Davidson of San Marcos Game of the Week, where Evan DeVore joins us in studio to give us more on the highly anticipated showdown. Evan?
I had the privilege to go to the Discovery Bowl, the annual rivalry between the Mission Hills Grizzlies and the San Marcos Knights. Last season, the Grizzlies dominated the Knights by a score of 55-13. Mission Hills will be looking to cap off an undefeated season with a win tonight. Can they do it? Let's find out right now. The San Marcos Knights start off the game with a field goal. The Knights then kick the ball to Will Strickland, who misses it at first and then picks up the ball and runs it for 70 yards. This return would lead up to Nehemiah McFarland receiving the handoff from quarterback Jack Tuttle and running it in 22 yards for the touchdown. The Grizzlies would take over the lead 7-3. We jump into the third quarter where the Knights force Mission Hills to punt. David Batista kicks the ball and gets a few lucky bounces and hits the back of Mason Haney. Sam Dixon then jumps on the ball and gains possession for the Grizzlies. This play would lead to a 4-yard rushing touchdown by McFarland, putting up the Grizzlies 21-6. With seconds remaining in the third, Jack Tuttle fakes the handoff to Natana Logolo and gives it to the one and only Nehemiah McFarland, who rushes it 72 yards for the touchdown. 28-6 Mission Hills. The Grizzlies would add a couple more touchdowns in the fourth quarter to make the final score 42-6. It was all Mission Hills in this one as Nehemiah McFarland racks up a whopping 300-yard game, completing the undefeated season for the Grizzlies. And another Avocado East League title. Mission Hills will look to continue their winning ways as they host the La Costa Canyon Mavericks in the quarterfinals of the Open Division playoffs on November 20th. Earlier today, Steve Kirch spoke with Mission Hills running back Nehemiah McFarland.
The Mission Hill Grizzlies had an unbelievable season this year. Undefeated, and they were the #1 ranked team in San Diego section for most of the season. And I have the man who was the leader of that team, the man, the myth, the legend, Nehemiah McFarland. Nehemiah, thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it, sir.
Okay, now first question. How many yards rushing did you have last week?
Last week, I think they had me counted for 321 total rushing yards. So during the game, I didn't really think we had 300. You know, we had some good runs, 5, 10, some big ones. But I didn't think we really had 300. I think we had around a 2 mark. And then me and the lineman were really excited because it's just a testament to our work and how hard we're working. So I'm excited. Yeah, it was awesome.
Now, you guys were undefeated this season. I mean, you basically blew out everyone you played. Were you kind of shocked that you didn't get the #1 seed in Open Division playoffs?
I think a lot of us in the San Marcos community were, we wanted that top spot. I think, like you said, I think we're the only undefeated team in the county, you know what I'm saying? So how does that not get recognized?
Okay, so you're a senior, college is coming up. Who you been talking to? Where do you want to go?
I did receive my first offer about a month or so ago from USD, partnership with them. Harvard has expressed interest.
Oh, nice.
Yes, sir. They wanted a little higher on the SAT, which I just took on Saturday, so I'm hoping that came through. It's not much right now, but I have full faith something's going to come, but we're not worried about that right now. Just focus on LCC, so.
Nehemiah, thank you very much.
All right,
and
thank
folks, you can watch this man tear it up in college. I'm going to tell you right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, I would like to thank Nehemiah McFarland for coming down to the Prep Sports Live studios. And Jasmine, let's make sure we let everybody know it's his birthday Saturday, so wish him a happy birthday on Twitter and Instagram. He's not hard to find.
Before we wrap up tonight's show, Jay Brown has a preview into the playoffs. Take it away, Jay.
Thanks, Jasmine. After 10 long weeks of football, we finally arrived for everyone's favorite time of the year. That's right, sports fans, it's the playoffs. On Saturday morning, the San Diego section of the CIF released this year's brackets and seedings that will lead up to the championship weekend on December 4th and 5th at Southwestern College. Let's take a look at the brackets and see how things will shape up. Let's go ahead and go to Open Division. Open Division, the Division of Champions. First off, we have a big matchup. We have Helix and Madison, the Grossmont Hills champion versus the Western League champion. I have a hard time seeing Madison stopping Helix on this one. Now let's go to another big matchup we have, the #6 seed and the #3 seed. We have the La Costa Canyon Mavericks going to Mission Hills. Now, Mission Hills was undefeated and the Avocado East champions at the end of this season. So that's another big game. Then you have St. Augustine and East Lake. So Mission Hills could be seeing St. Augustine in the second round of the playoffs. Now, the Open Division doesn't start this week. It actually starts on November 20th. So all 8 teams have a bye week this week. Let's go ahead and jump over to Division 1. Now, Division 1, as you can see there, the 4 teams that have first-round byes are going to be the Oceanside, Point Loma, El Camino, and Grossmont. Now, a very big surprise here. Oceanside with the #1 seed in the Division 1. Now, they fell out of Open Division after Madison was bumped up when the standings came out. Another big game we have here is going to be Vista at Steel Canyon. If Steel Canyon wins and goes on, it'll be another Grossmont League matchup between Grossmont and Steel Canyon. Another big matchup we have there, too, is the #8 seed San Marcos hosting in Ramona. Now, if San Marcos wins, they'll be playing another Avocado champion, another Avocado League team in Oceanside. Let's go ahead and jump on to Division 2. Okay, no, Division 2. Okay, so I'll give you the rundown of Division 2 right now. Division 2, we have the first round winners, first round byes are going to be Valhalla, Mount Carmel, Granite Hills, and Rancho Bernardo. Now, 2 big champions there. Rancho Bernardo was the Palomar League champion after beating Poway this past week with the #2 seed. Now, we're going to have a really good matchup here, #12 and #5. #12 with San Pasqual and #5 at Westview. If Westview wins that matchup, and it looks like they should, they're going to go ahead and play Mount Carmel, the same team they just lost to this last week. So that will also be another great matchup. Now, the #10 and #7 seed, that's a pretty interesting thing because it's almost like a crosstown rival. You've got Scripps Ranch at Mira Mesa. I see Scripps Ranch eking out just a little bit and going to face Rancho Bernardo the next week. Let's go ahead and jump on into Division 3. Now, Division 3, as you see, the first round byes are going to be Bonita Vista, Santa Fe Christian, Valley Center, and Mission Bay. So Bonita Vista actually was a champion. They won the Metro Mesa Championship with an 8-2 record. Santa Fe Christian was the Coastal League champion at 9-1. Valley Center actually had a share of the Valley League title with Fallbrook, and San Pasqual, they finished the season at 7-3. Now, an interesting thing here, the number 2 seed in the Division III matchup is going to be Mission Bay. Now, Mission Bay was 8-0 going into the last 2 games of the season. They lost to Point Loma and then again to Madison, 2 big losses, but they were still able to secure the number 2 seed. Another big one you have going there is Hilltop and Fallbrook. Would then have to travel to Mission Bay. So that would be a long drive from North County for Fallbrook to go all the way down south. Another good matchup from the Imperial County. You have number 12 Imperial coming all the way west to Del Norte. So that's going to be a great matchup facing number 4 Santa Fe Christian. And that's rounded all the way off with Division 4. Division 4 had us with the first round buys are going to be Mater Dei, Mar Vista, Bishops, and University City. Now, a key thing here is we have the number 3 seed is Bishops. Bishops was actually the 2014 Division 4 champion last season with a great overtime win at Southwestern College. That was a great game. So they have the number 3 seed right now. Now, Metro South Bay champion, Mater Dei Catholic at number 1. So they finished the season 9-1 and going 3-0 in league. So you can see why they are respective of that number 1 seed. Now, an interesting matchup we have here is number 12 Orange Glen against number 5 El Centro Southwest. Orange Glen, a North County team, is going to have to travel all the way to the Imperial County to face number 5 El Centro Southwest. A long drive for Orange Glen to see if they will be able to take off that win. Then you have a great matchup with Monte Vista at Castle Park. Castle Park was the Metro Pacific champ, finishing the season 9-1 and 3-0. So all of those playoffs actually, Division 1 through Division 4 playoffs actually begin this Friday. So the teams that have the first round bye won't actually play till the 20th, while the rest of the games are actually played this week and they'll go on next week. Now, we've got a lot of great matchups. We're going to be trying to cover every one that we possibly can so that we can give you the best coverage overall for this season. And we'll have amazing coverage of the championship games coming December 4th and the 5th from Southwestern Colleges. Now, like I said, Division 1s through 4 will start playing this week. This coming Friday, well, the Open Division teams all have a bye week headed into the quarterfinals. So play next week. Check back next week to see how all your teams did on its way to the championships. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Jay. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. But before we go, we would like to thank our veterans everywhere around the world, and a special thanks to one of our very own executive producers, Serena Reed. For Prep Sports Live, I'm Jasmine Leoning.
And I'm Steve Kirch. Good night, and we'll see you next week. Well, actually, before we go, Jasmine, let me ask you something. For the Open Division playoffs, who do you like? Quick, give me a pick.
I like the Mission Hill Grizzlies, of course. I love them.
Well, I like Helix, and that's all I'm going to say. So everybody, good luck and good night.